Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. Brother Naquam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashima Mashiach, Wamalaki Abashai. Double honors to the elected elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters that are out there zealous, diligent, and on fire, moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to the ancient men. Shalom to the children. Shalom to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And again, Shabbat Shalom to everybody tuning in live on another midnight Shabbat lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh and his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, Don Israel Tamid, HBK Lit, Yolanda Caesar, Aka Rectitude, Nigel Blends, Brother Azariah, Anthony Knox, EJ Powell, Hushaya Servant, 144K, T Keeper, Elder Daria Wash, Shalom, and again, everybody else tuning in and that will tune in, Lord willing. Are you watching the Fall of Rome 2.0? Right? Are you watching the Fall of Rome 2.0? Let's dive right into it. Right? We got a lot we want to touch on through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shmi Abashai. Most are willing, everybody's having a productive, mighty, restful Shabbat as well through the spirit. You're productive, meaning you're tapped into the lesson, right? You're praying, you're having a holy convocation. Most High willing, if you have the means to do so, you're tapped into the spirit and power of Yahweh Shmi Abashai through meditation, through self-examination, through applying these precepts. And, Most High willing, everybody is watching and they're seeing exactly what the Most High is showing you in these last days, showing you that you're in the end of the world, showing you that he's the only option, he's the only way. There's only one body, there's only one Father, there's only one Spirit, there's only one baptism, right? There's only one exit route out of this whole thing going on, man. And it starts with Yahweh Shmi Abashai. So Most High willing, everybody's aware of that, and you're not looking to go any other way because there's no other way but Yahweh Shai, right? Money's not going to save you, right? A woman ain't going to save you. Your job is not going to save you. Your car is not going to save you. Your own ideas aren't going to save you, right? Only the Most High is going to save you and prosper whatever enterprise that he allows you to prosper in. And all outcomes, successful or not, are predetermined by the foreknowledge of Yahweh Shmi Abashai. So it's best for our people to put our trust in the Most High as you see these events slowly but surely get worse and worse. And they will get worse and worse before they get better and better. Things are not going to get better for the world, but it's going to get better for us, right? It's going to get better for us, but not for the world, right? The world is heading towards some very, very, very grim, dark times, right? And we're going to touch on the fall of Rome, right? 2.0, right? You're living in modern day Rome. We'll prove it. We'll show it. And the exact same thing you see going on now in the world has already happened 2,000 years ago. But let's start it off with, or kick it off rather, with the book of St. Mark, chapter 13. And we're going to start at verse number 28, right? The St. Mark, chapter 13 and verse number 28. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When her branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, yea, know that summer is near. So summer represents the kingdom of heaven, right? The time where the sun is full of brightness, which represents in a parabolic level the glory of Yahweh Shmi Abashai, right? The infinite wisdom and knowledge of the Most High. Like the Lord said in, let me get a quick precept in Isaiah 30 and 26, right? Quick precept. Isaiah chapter 30 and 26, it reads, moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold, as the light of 7 days. And the day that the Lord bindeth up the breach of his people and healeth the stroke of their wound. So the summertime is where the light prevails over the darkness, and the daylight hours exceed the nighttime hours. There's life, there's grass, there's vegetation, there's fruit on trees, there's harvesting. It's a time of great productivity, right, by the Spirit of the Most High on nature. So the Most High is likening when his return to the light of the sun being sevenfold, as if it's the summertime, right? When you have that bright, sunlight, 85, 90 degrees. The only thing is, this is not literal. When the Most High said that the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold, it represents the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that Yahweh Basham is coming with, right? It represents our hope. It represents the Most High coming to deliver us, right? It's not the sun literally being sevenfold. It's a parable, or a dark saying. And the day that the Lord bindeth up the breach of his people and healeth the stroke of their wound. So we're waiting for this summertime, and we're beginning to see signs that summer is approaching. The same way you see a fig tree beginning to shoot forth its twigs and shoot forth its leaves and then shoot forth its fruit. You begin to see as the seasons are transitioning to something better. And we're watching this world collapse. And for them, it's turning into winter time for them. But it's summertime for us if you have ears to hear. Right? This is Mark 13:29. So yea, in like manner, when ye shall see these things come to pass, know that it is nigh, even at the doors. What's nigh at the doors? Our redemption, right? Our salvation. We're watching the seasons change. We're watching the seasons of oppression that we currently go through, the seasons of captivity, of hopelessness, of being destitute, depression, these curses in Deuteronomy 28, begging like Lazarus in Luke the 16th chapter. We're watching our seasons transition into a time of hope and a time of light, right? So it's beautiful to watch this, man. It's beautiful to watch this Strait of Hormuz. It's beautiful to watch these prices go up. It's beautiful to watch gas and oil refineries and gas fields blow up. It's beautiful to watch America, Babylon the Great. Word is they sent in 5,000 troops. First they said 5,000. Now I'm looking at the number, they're saying 8,000. Last time I checked, they said it might be 12,000. We don't know. We'll see. Nevertheless, they're sending troops out there. Once they put troops on the ground out there, rather they want to take the island off the coast of Iran, or actually take Iran and put boots on the ground, and they start losing American lives and casualties, and all hell is going to break loose. So these are exciting times. That is the point. I was telling brothers, man, I was at the plantation, man, and I was just smiling, watching these events just transpire, watching Trump say the most foolish things he could ever say, man. Get caught up in his words, double talk. 1 minute the war is over, the next minute we sending troops out there. So these are things that we need to look forward to, right? And every brother, we should be excited, man. I'm excited, right? Nothing can change my excitement because I'm watching the end of the world right before my eyes. This is Mark 13:30. Verily I say unto you that this generation shall not pass till all these things be done. So it's going to happen in this life. It's going to happen in this life. Not 3 generations from now. Not our great grandkids. No, it's happening in this life. This generation. The Most High called this the chosen generation. Let me get that in 1 Peter 2:9. Right? Everybody's wondering, well, what if it doesn't happen in our time? Right? What if we're still here 300 more years? No, this thing is going down in our generation. Because the Most High says so, man. 1 Peter 2:9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness and to its marvelous light. And we are indeed a chosen generation. We're that exact same generation that was on the earth with Yahushua 2,000 years ago. When you understand regeneration, the 12 apostles are back on the earth, whoever they may be. The apostle Peter, it's like the apostle Paul, he's back on the earth. Barnabas, Silas, Silvanus, Titus, Timothy, right? All these top men are back on the earth. The top sisters, Martha and Mary and the other Mary, right? Joanna and all these sisters are back on the earth, right? Wicked men are back on the earth. Hymenaeus, Philetus, Hermogenes, Diotrephes, all these spirits are back in their respective lot. But we are the chosen generation because we're the ones who are able to testify through the spirit of prophecy, the end of the world, and also speak on what the Most High is showing us. And we're able to actually see what our forefathers wrote about and understand it. So you have to show praises to Yahweh Ba'ashmi Awashai and thank Yahweh Ba'ashmi Awashai who called you out of darkness and to this light in these last days, man. Right? So let's go back to this. And Mark 13 and 30. Verily I say unto you that this generation shall not pass till all these things be done. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. Heaven and earth passing away represents this system. Doesn't mean the actual heaven and the earth is going to be destroyed. It represents the first heaven and the first earth. Remember, John said, I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. So heaven and earth passing away is going to happen when Yahushua returns, and also when these missiles begin to drop. And that this old regime of lust and evil and pedophiles and war, all of that represents this heaven and earth. But the words of Yahushua, Yahweh Ba'ashmi Awashai, they endure forever. Mark 13 and 32. But if that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. So we can't pinpoint the exact hour and say, okay, well, 8 p.m., April 9th, 2027, Yahushua. No, we don't know. We know the season based off of the events, and we see the prophecies as we begin to measure the times, but we can't pinpoint to the second and hour and minute when Yahushua is going to return. Mark 13 and 33, here's the point, right? St. Mark 13 and 33. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. So all of us need to be watching over our spirits, watching over our household spirits, putting off mortal thoughts, casting off your weak nature, taking away all evil spirits that's holding you back from serving Yahweh Ba'ashmi Awashai, right? Rather it's pride, slothfulness, envy, hatred, lust, murmuring, backbiting, rebellion, right? All of these spirits, the Most High can't use you if you don't have the mindset to overcome these demons, right? You want to be a vessel fitted for instruction and meet for the master's use. So watch over your spirit and watch these prophecies, man. Everybody should be very well aware about what's going on in the Middle East. That's why this is called, Are You Watching? Right? And that's a rhetorical question for the lesson, because the servants of the Most High, they should already be, tapped into what's going on. And a lot of what we're about to go into shouldn't be major breaking news, because you're already watching. You're already observing. You may know things and may go into things that I may not go into tonight, because you're already on top of it. Right? So don't wait for lives or for brothers to bring out the information to you. You got to want this on your own. You got to dig and find this stuff, man. The Most High said it is, let me get a quick precept in Proverbs, right? This is Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 2, right? Quick precept. It reads, it is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter, right? So The Most High takes pleasure and honor and concealing and putting things into secrets, dark sayings, parables, riddles, allegories. The Most High does that. That's his glory. And it's your glory to search out what the Most High has hid. That's where you get honor from. That's how you get honor from the Most High. That's how the Most High looks at you and he's pleased at you because you are searching out the secrets and the prophecies and the understanding that has been hid from generation to generation. That's an honorable thing for a king to do that. And ancient kings did things like that. My ancient kings didn't just sit around and have people feed them grapes. Ancient kings, they were architects. Ancient kings built entire cities. Ancient kings translated books and manuscripts and built libraries and documents and searched out history, sins of our people, man. Go read our ancient kings and see what they searched out. You know, see what Josiah searched out, what Hezekiah searched out, what David searched out when he began to formulate the blueprint to build the temple. They searched these things out, man. They didn't wait for a handout. They prepared their heart and they searched out matters, and the Most High was with them. So have some initiative in the last days. Have some initiative and some drive and wherewithal to dive into these prophecies and measure the times and link these things up. We all got to work out our own salvation. You know, let me get that in Philippians chapter 2 and 12. Salakia, I want Philippians 2 and 12. Right? Every single one of us, we're going to have to give an account for all of our own works and all of our own sins. The man next to you can't save you, right? Your respective camp can't save you. I can't save you. Your woman can't save you. Only the Most High can save you, right? This Philippians chapter 2 and 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You understand? That's what we have to understand. We have to work out our own salvation. I can't work out your salvation. Me doing push-ups don't make you stronger. You doing sit-ups don't give me a six-pack. You on a diet, it don't have me lose weight. The things that you do to benefit your body and your physical health is for you. And you're going to eat the reward for the time and labor and discipline that you put in. And if I don't put in that discipline, then I'm not going to have the results. So if I want results, I have to have the discipline and the work ethic to make that thing happen. So if you want the kingdom of heaven, you want everlasting life, there's working out that you have to do, right? There's some working out that we got to do, right? There's some cleaning up that we have to do within our spirits, man. So that's what the Lord is saying in Mark 13 and 33. Take a heed, watch and pray, and stay prayed up. Don't just be praying once a day. Don't just pray when you want to eat. Don't just pray when you need a job. Don't just pray when you're stuck in traffic, you need a parking spot. Or you found this woman that you want to, deal with. Last time I read in Luke the 18th chapter, Yahweh Shah said, men ought always to pray and not to faint. And praying is your power source with the Most High. That's how you stay connected. Right? And when you begin not to pray, you get disconnected from the spirit of the creator of heaven and earth. Right? And you become vulnerable to all these different demons out here. This ain't the time to be a walking lick, how they say, man. This is not a time to be green and be a punching bag. And these demons, they just come up on you and do what they want to do to you. Stay prayed up. Because you don't know when this thing is going to really hit the fan. Mark 13:34. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. So Yahweh Shai, he took his far journey, meaning he's up in the spirit world, right? And through the Holy Spirit and the Spirit of truth, the Comforter, the Most High gave power to apostles, prophets, evangelists, teachers, right? That's what this means. He gave authority to his servants. Let's get a quick precept on that, right? Let's go to Ephesians 4. Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 10. He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. So the Lord ascended up and took a far journey, far above all heavens. That's what it means. It's a far journey in terms of distance. It's above the firmament. It's above the waters. It's in the third heaven, right? Verse 11. And he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers. So back in Mark 13, it says he gave authority to his servants. These are the servants that he set up, different men to be able to build up the nation of Israel for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach Yahushua, right? Till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach. So the Lord has given men to the saints in the last days to build them up to be on the exact same level as Yahushua. And brotherly love, work ethic, discipline, knowledge, right? The Most High wants us to be mature and to be ready for the marriage. So Mark 13 and 34, I'm going to read it again. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, that's far above the heavens, the third heaven, who left his house, right? Meaning he left this realm, this terrestrial realm, the earth, and gave authority to his servants, right? The Lord also said, occupy till I come, in Luke the 19th chapter. And to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. So every man has work that he has to do. Every man should be occupied. Every man should be putting a hand to the plow. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning. So the Lord could come anytime during this night season. This is the nighttime. The even is 6 p.m. Midnight is 12 a.m. Cock crowing is 3 a.m. The morning is 6 a.m. These are the 4 watches. And Yahushua can come at any time during this night season. Lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping, and what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. Right? So everybody keep watch, because this place is going down. Let's go to Sirach, the 10th chapter. Right? Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse number 8. You're witnessing the fall of the American Empire. Or should we say the Roman Empire, right? You're witnessing the fall of the Roman Empire. And well, it's a beautiful sight to see. Sirach chapter 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So America's fall is told about in the scriptures. And why is America falling? Why are they trillions of dollars in debt? Why is their military spread thin into far distant lands? Why is there political instability? Why do they have incompetent kings and rulers? Why does the world call them the great Satan? Why is America a shadow of its former self? Why is the petrodollar losing its steam? And nobody wants to deal with Babylon the Great, with trade anymore, with exports. They don't want to export their goods here. They don't want to take any goods from America because of unrighteous dealings, dropping bombs. This man Trump just came out and told the people, I believe the Prime Minister of Japan, he mocked him about Pearl Harbor. And they knew Pearl Harbor was going to happen when you go deep into that understanding. Then they dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Killed civilians, children, babies. They just dropped the bomb on a school in Iran not too long ago, killed 160 children. These are the other nations. We're not even talking about what we went through. Experiments and abortion and slavery and all types of wickedness. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries. Injuries is not just, okay, I scraped my knee, I sprained my elbow, I tore my ACL. Injuries is lynchings. Injuries is beheading, skinning people alive. All of that is injuries. You got mental injuries. You got spiritual injuries we're going through because this devil done stole, raped, robbed, and murdered our heritage and nationality. And riches got by deceit. This devil stole oil, uranium, opium. He had opium wars. Britain and China had opium wars over opium. Straight up. They didn't even try to hide it. Same thing they did in Afghanistan. Stole money, lands, people, resources, schools, public buildings, funding, assets that other nations needed. Riches got by deceit. What's the penalty? The punishment? The kingdom is translated from one people to another. So now the Most High has to take your kingdom from you, right? The Most High is taking the kingdom from Esau, and he's going to give it to who? To the elect, right? He's going to give it to the elect. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, right? We're going to touch on the fall of this empire. And this is the exact same reason, as we'll touch on later, on how Rome fell. Rome fell for these exact same reasons. If you want to know why kingdoms come and go, it's because of this. Right, let's go to Job 24, quick precept. Why do empires normally last around 250 years? Isn't that the saying? Average age of an empire. Don't the scholars all agree 250 years? Why? Right? Why did it says the Ottoman Empire lasted about 250 years? The British Empire lasted about 250 years. On average, most kingdoms, they last about 250 years. And why do they go shortly after? Because of sin. And America's nothing different. You think America is going to get away with all of the robbery and the murders and the killings that they've done? No. The Most High is pulling a card, and all their sins have caught up with them. Right? And if you're still trusting in this society, then you deserve to trust in it. This place is over. They're sending troops to Iran. Boots on the ground. And I'm just waiting for it and they want to try to hide they're already hiding the number of American casualties at war. At first, they said it was 6. First, they said nobody died. Then they said, okay, it's 6 of them. Then they said, okay, well, let's add one more, 7. Now they're saying there's over 500. There's so many deaths that when they went to go and pay respect to the soldiers that died, they made it a private, no cameras allowed type of ceremony because they don't want the public to freak out knowing how bad this war is really being played out. Iran talking, they talk, and they backing it up. Hey, these heathen got missiles coming out the desert, out the ground. I mean, just coming straight out the ground. I'm not talking about a landmine, a trip mine. We're watching footage of ICBM missiles coming out of a sandcastle, man. Just straight up. They shot down F-32 jets. They say they shot down what? 10? Was it 10 or 12? F-32 jets, man. Them Iranians ain't messing around. And a lot of people are dying out there. A lot of people are dying. So this thing is going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And we're going to show you how bad this thing is about to get. I mean, it's good for us. All praises to the Most High. Every day in this war is every day we're closer to getting the hell up out of here. And that's how you got to look at it. Don't be worried about, well, what about gas? We're not worried about that. Let them worry about that. What about my job? What about oil? What about gas? What about my clothes? That's what the Gentiles seek after. We seek after the kingdom of heaven. For here we have no continuing city. We seek and want to come. The Most High is going to take care of us. We're going to be just fine. Not because mortal man says so. There are countless prophecies that say so and promises that I believe in, that you got to believe in. The Most High said, my servants shall eat. Isaiah 65:13, 2nd Esdras 2:26 on down, Proverbs chapter 12:21, and many other prophecies speak about us being delivered. Job, the 5th chapter, go back and read. The Most High will deliver you in 6 troubles, yea, and 7, there shall no evil touch thee. In war, he shall redeem thee from the sword. So we're not worried about none of that stuff, man. We fear the Most High. Right? So these are exciting times. And if you feel like you got that fear, you feel like you're scared, you feel like, you're apprehensive, you're nervous about the outcomes on the earth, pause this, throw some prayers up, man, that the Most High increases your faith. Job chapter 24 and verse number 22. Let's read this. Job 24 and 22. He draweth also the mighty with his power. He riseth up, and no man is sure of life. And it speaks about the power that the so-called white man has. Right? He riseth up. He'll send. At one time, he had this power where he would move into a land and no man was sure of their life. He would send ships, planes, boots on the ground, and the people who were invaded, the victims, they knew that they were going to die. Verse 23, though it be given him to be in safety, whereon he resteth, yet his eyes are upon their ways. And though it seemed like these people in America, these elites, Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, these elite bankers are safe in their doomsday bunkers, deep underground military bases, it may seem like they're in safety, but the angels are always watching. And you can't escape from the Most High. Job 24 and 24. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all other and cut off as the tops of the ears of corn. Slucky. So the Most High said they're exalted for a little while. That little while is the average age of the empire. That 250 years, that's the little while. The Bible says he will have a little season. The Most High said that the number of his years are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. That's the little while. From the time that this devil came over here to the time that he's taken out. And they're going to be taken out like all the other kingdoms. And the Most High said in Job 24 and 25, and if it be not so now, who will make me a liar and make my speech nothing worth? So who's going to make the Most High a liar and say America's not going to be destroyed? Who's going to say Babylon the Great is going to continue forever? Go ahead and say it if you want to. When you say that, you make the Most High a liar. And you say his speech don't mean anything. Right? You're saying that his speech doesn't mean anything. So the Most High, he's looking to take this place down. This is from Reuters.com. United States to deploy thousands of additional troops to the Middle East, officials say. It's 5 hours ago. Real time. The real deal. It's over. It's already done. So, like, this kingdom's already finished. They're putting troops in the ground in Iran. And these soldiers, they don't know what's going on. They're being told on a military basis that this is a holy war. Some of them don't know why they're being sent over there. And I don't think they're going to come back. If you get sent over there, either you're going to die over there or you're going to be over there till Yahushua returns. Going to be over there. This is not, I said this before, this is not the time to be joining the army. Right? So United States to deploy thousands of additional troops to the Middle East, officials say. Thousands of additional Marines and sailors are heading to the Middle East. Adds more than 50,000 troops in the region already. So they already got 50,000 troops. And they're sending thousands more. Thousands more. Some say 2,000. Some sites say 5,000. Like I said, I saw another site that said 8 to 12,000. Marines can be used for multiple reasons, including going on land. The United States military is deploying thousands of additional Marines and sailors to the Middle East. 3 U.S. officials told Reuters on Friday as the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran reached the 3rd week mark. No decision has been made to send troops into Iran itself. 2 of the officials told Reuters, but they will build up the capacity for future operations in the region. And I'm hearing otherwise. I'm hearing that they're actually putting troops in Iran. And regardless, you're putting troops out there to fight this war that you said was only going to last 3 days. You said that this is going to be a small feat. First of all, you said the war is already over. Then you said, okay, give us a week, give us 7 months. Now you're sending thousands of troops already over there. And this is something that we've seen in the Roman Empire, an over expansion of the military and spreading your military so thin to the point where you can't pay them enough. Neither can you not pay them enough. Their morale is low because these people don't want to fight. These soldiers don't want to fight. There are countless videos of these soldiers saying, I do not want to fight the war for the Israelis. I do not want to fight the Epstein war. I do not want to fight the so-called war for the Jew man. I'm not an American soldier. Thank the Most High, but they are, and that's what they're saying. They're doing videos on it. They're going live. They're crying. Right there in some dark room, regretting the fact that they joined the army. So the morale of the modern day Roman soldiers is the exact same as it was like 2,000 years ago. And Rome, they expanded and pushed their military to the brink where they can no longer defend their homeland. Right? And this is the exact same spirit that America's moving in. Matter of fact, I wanted to show how Rome fell, right? Because America is indeed ancient Rome, right? First, let's get a precept. Let's go to Revelation, the 17th chapter, right? America is indeed ancient Rome. And I'm going to touch on, now this is an article, I'm going to touch on this article, how military strategy caused the fall of the Roman Empire. Right? How military strategy caused the fall of the Roman Empire. But first, the Bible prophesied of the Roman Empire, and America is an extension and or a revised version of the Roman Empire. So let's go to Revelation chapter 17, and we're going to read we're going to read 1. All right, Revelation chapter 17 and 1. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So the whore is Babylon the Great. And John actually saw this great whore. He saw this actually playing out. But this is a similitude for America and how they have dominion over the different nations. They're the great whore that sits upon many waters. And the many waters are the different nations. Let me prove that. Let me jump down to show that. Let's go to Revelation 17 and 15 to show that the waters aren't literal waters, but they're people. Revelation 17 and 15. And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So America has dominion over different lands. They have embassies all throughout the 4 corners of the earth. They have military bases, right? This is a map of America's military bases throughout the world, right? And this isn't even the latest and greatest, but they're all over. They're all over. Every continent, every country, everywhere. Japan, India, Germany, UK, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, Iraq. Military bases all over. Naval fleets, damn near everywhere, on all corners of the so-called earth. Right? So this is that great whore that has influence and dominion over the world. All right? They have influence and dominion over the world. Let's go back to Revelation 17 and verse number 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So all these different nations have accepted America in some form of fashion. Rather they accepted their foreign policy, rather they accepted democracy, rather they have accepted Christianity, rather they have been enslaved by the Federal Reserve, the World Bank, and the IMF to accept the dollar and keep dollar reserves within their banking system. Everybody's in bed with America in some form of fashion, right? And those are the main ways. This is the fornication. It's not literal fornication, as in literal sexual sins, but it's a spiritual immorality, right? Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. It's fornication. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14 and 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. So when you commit idolatry, that's spiritual fornication. When you're laying down with this whore, you're committing spiritual fornication. And then she gets you drunk with her wine. And her wine is her foreign policies, her philosophies, and her doctrines. Right? That's the wine. And you see the people who are living the effects of the wine. What are some of the side effects of drinking of the wine of America? Well, look at these people that come here. Look at the Chinese man who just celebrated St. Patrick's Day, who had green on. Not long ago, the East Indian man was celebrating Valentine's Day. They have arranged marriages, but they come to America, they leave all that behind, and they celebrate Valentine's Day. The Korean man comes here and celebrates Christmas, and his Christmas lights are in competition with your so-called neighbor who's an Edomite. The Korean man has the best Christmas lights on the block. Why is he celebrating Christmas bigger and badder than every other Edomite? Because he's drunk off the wine. The African man, straight from the bushes of the Congo, will come over here and get a butterball Thanksgiving turkey, make grandma sweet potatoes, something he saw on TikTok, make some greens, and he will get down on Thanksgiving, man. He will get down. Why is the African man making grandma's famous sweet potatoes with all of the sugar and butter? Because he is drunk off of American lifestyle. Right? Let's go to Proverbs 23. All these nations are bugged out. We say it all the time at the harbor, man. We ask these nations, oh, you know, why are you here? What's going on? And they're drunk. They have no idea. They have no idea how they got here, what their goals is. Hey, these Arab women, they come over and they put pants on, huh? They come over here and get abortions. They'll come over here and marry a Jake, man. Them Ethiopian women, they'll come over here and they'll freak off in these colleges and universities and be whores. Whatever you had in your own kingdom, these nations, they have some type of code of ethics. They lose all those code of ethics and morals when they come to America. Here's the effects of being drunk. Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 29. Who hath woe, who hath sorrow, who hath contentions, who hath babbling, who hath wounds without cause, who hath redness of eyes? Who has these things, man? Right? These are 6 questions. Right? Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions of destruction. Who has problems, man? Who's depressed? Who's always into these things? Who has these spirits? Here's the answer. They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. And the longer you're in that in America, the more drunk that you'll become. Look at the Israelite man. We're the most drunkest nation because we've been here the longest. We're so drunk that we don't even know who we are. We're so drunk, you'll kill your own brother because he's a different skin tone for a color. We're drunk. That's why we need this living water. Right? Let's read on. Proverbs 23 and 31. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth its color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent and stingeth like an adder. And poisons serpent's venom. It takes time to run through your veins. Takes time. Right? It thickens your blood. I believe it's called coagulation. Asphyxiation. It chokes you and reduces oxygen going to your brain and it kills you. So the American philosophies and their foreign policies and their holidays and their pop culture and their religion slowly gets into your mind the longer that you stay here and entertain them. And here's what happens. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. This is what happens when the other nations get here. They begin to utter perverse things. Go USA. You got the Chinese man, USA, USA. He's uttering perverse things. The Japanese man says, I'm going to pinch you if you don't wear green. That's a perverse thing. You got nations that come here and they become pure homosexuals. Call me they. That's uttering perverse things because you've been drinking off this wine. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast, meaning you have no balance, you have no sense of direction, have your equilibrium's completely thrown off, and you're slowly but surely at the helm of the so-called white man. He could do what he want to do with you. Verse 35. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. And everybody's getting beat by the so-called white man, but they don't know it because they're drunk. They're being robbed, but they don't know it because they're drunk. Their lands are being taken, but they barely know it because they're drunk. Their children are being lied to in schools and universities, but they don't know that they're getting beat. These Moabites send their schools, send their college kids to damn Harvard and Yale, thinking that they're going to learn some heavenly white Jesus education. But they're getting beat, whored out in those schools, doing Adderall, Ritalin, freaking off in parties, and all code of ethics and moral, whatever moral sense of morality that you had is eroded. So they're getting beat and they don't even know it. It says, when shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. So all nations, pursuant to Revelation 17:2, they're uttering perverse things, their balance is thrown off, and they are drunk with the wine of her fornication. Let's go to Jeremiah 51. Actually, let's get the classic, right? We pull this precept out all the time. Habakkuk chapter 2 and 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And it's the same precept, right? America gets you drunk so they can look at you naked, right? And that's a crime, man. You can't do that. You can get arrested for that. It's a federal crime. It is completely illegal to drug somebody or get them drunk against their will, strip them of their clothes, and look at their nakedness. That's jail time. You know? That's what America does, though, on a spiritual level. Get you drunk and they want to see you. They love to see you without any sense of direction. That's how Diddy was, man. Right? And these Epstein guys, they like to see you out of your mind. They get off on that. That's why Diddy had him on Drink Champs, and he said, I'm not going to repeat exactly what he said. You know what he said, but he pretty much said, boy, man. He said, I like when you scraping and scrambling. He said more before that. And he said a lot more after that. But he said, I like when you like this. You know what? I like it when you scraping and scrambling. Because don't he get off on that, man. You know? So America like when you scraping and scrambling. They like when you don't know who you are and you giving them gold and your people come to America. You celebrate their lifestyle. They love it. Right? They love it. Let's go back to Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So this woman again is Babylon the Great, this whore. And the scarlet-colored beast that she sits upon represents NATO and the EU. Now, this same scarlet-colored beast is found in the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter, right? Scarlet, again, is just a shade of red. So when you go to Revelation, the 12th chapter, right, you get more understanding on a scarlet-colored beast. America gets their power and authority from NATO and the EU. They are the face, the voice piece, and the authority of NATO and the EU. They control the shots. The same way a man is on a horse, and he could turn the horse left to right with the bridle and make the horse go where he wants to go. America does that with the beast. They have power over the beast to move the beast left, move the beast right, and that's how they get their power and show their power. Revelation chapter 12 and verse number 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. So this great red dragon is the Roman Empire. This is the Roman Empire. Why is it red? Because Esau came out red. That's Genesis 25 and 25. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And why is he a dragon? Because dragons are violent creatures, right? Let me get a precept. This is the place of dragons. Let's go to Psalms, right? There's a lot of precepts we can get on dragons, right? But let's go to Psalms 44 and verse number, we'll start at 18, right? Psalms 44 and 18. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from thy way, right? We're still serving the Most High. Though thou hast sore broken us in the place of dragons and covered us with the shadow of death. So we're going through being broken down, which are the curses. This is happening in a set place. This place that we live in, where we're being broken down, is called the place of dragons. America is the place of dragons, a place of police brutality, murder, a strong military, FEMA camps, an industrial prison complex, and you're a sheep surrounded by your enemy. It's also called the shadow of death. So that great red dragon represents the so-called white man's empire, the Roman Empire. This is the place of dragons, America, right? Just like ancient Rome was the place of dragons at that time. All right. So going back to Revelation, the 12th chapter, right? Let's go back to Revelation, the 12th chapter. Revelation chapter 12 and verse number 3 again. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. And these 7 heads and 10 horns represent the 7 major provinces of the ancient Roman Empire. Okay, this is the ancient Roman Empire at its peak. Let's see. Right here it is at its peak, and you see Greece, right? You have Italy or Rome. You have Spain, which is Hispania. You had Hispania, Cyteria, and Alteria, but you had Spain. You had Gaul. You had Germania Major and Germania Minor, but really Germany. You had Britannia, and later you had Russia that came out of Scythia geographically, and the people of Rus that came down from Scandinavia. And they later, pushed west and formed Russia. So your 7 heads are Greece and Rome and Spain and France and Germany and Russia and Great Britain, right? Those are your 7 heads. And your 10 horns represent the smaller provinces within the Roman Empire. All right. The smaller provinces in the Roman Empire, such as Belgica, which is modern day Belgium, right? Noricum, you read about the Lombards, you read about all these different smaller provinces, which is your modern day European Union, right? That's your modern day European Union. So John, the Revelator, he saw the Roman Empire, right? Revelation chapter 12 and 4. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Right. So this represents the so-called white man, the Roman Empire, taking down a third part of the stars, which represents a portion of the tribes. Right. We represent those stars. The Lord said that they that be wise shall shine as the stars. In Genesis, the 37th chapter, Joseph had the dream about the sun and the moon and the 11 stars bowing down to him. And those stars represented all of his brothers, Reuben and Simeon and Levi and Judah, etc. So the stars being brought down to heaven represents us being brought from a higher state to a lower state. And a dragon that stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child, represents when the Herodian dynasty, Herod the Great, sought to kill Yahushua. Right? Let's get that in Matthew, the 2nd chapter. That's what this means. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. All right, let's go to that in Matthew, the 2nd chapter. Matthew chapter 2 and verse number 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. Same thing in Revelation. The dragon sought to slay the child. And Herod was a puppet king, an Edomite, set up by the Roman Empire. And Herod he's a pure Edomite. He's a descendant of Antipater the Idumean. Antipater the Idumean, Antipater the Edomite, which shows that this red dragon is a kingdom of Edomites, the Roman Empire. That's the red dragon. So in Revelation, the 17th chapter, the scarlet colored beast is the exact same beast in Revelation, the 12th chapter. This is also the exact same beast in Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay, so you read about the Roman Empire in many different parts of the Bible. Okay, now prophetically, you read about it in all the way back in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, right? You read about the Roman Empire besieging the walls of Jerusalem. You read about it in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, Daniel, the 7th chapter, Daniel, the 9th chapter. All right. You read about the Roman Empire in the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter, the 13th chapter, the 17th chapter primarily, the 20th chapter, right? You read about the Roman Empire in 2nd Esdras, okay, the 11th chapter and the 12th chapter. So it's all throughout the Bible, right? The Roman Empire plays a major role in end time prophecy. And we have to understand that the Bible talks about history, ancient kings. It's not a book of stories. You know, a lot of times you'll hear that rhetoric. Oh, I love the Bible. It's a book of stories. The story of Daniel the lion's den, the story of David and Goliath, the story of Noah and the ark. This isn't Aesop fables, man. This ain't Harry Potter. This ain't the New York Times best-selling books, man. It's the Holy Bible we're dealing with, the scriptures. And it speaks of ancient kingdoms, prophets, and rulers of antiquity. So we're going to read about this scarlet colored beast again, but we're going to go to Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay, this is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. The exact same beast, right? This is the same dragon but it's being worded and described in a different fashion. Verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and a dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So this empire is now being described based off of its particular characteristics. It's an amalgamation of other Edomite kingdoms, right? So you read about the leopard. The leopard represents the Greeks, because the Greeks were led by Alexander the freak, right? The Greek, who swiftly conquered the Persian Empire and the known world, just like a leopard. From the age of 20 to the age of 32, he conquered the known world. And he was known for fighting with the leopard saddle and a leopard hat. And then the feet of the bear represent the Russians, right? Whose symbol is the Russian bear, right? That's their symbol, the Russian bear. The Russian bear, primarily the Eurasian brown bear, is a powerful symbol of Russian national identity and often representing strength, right? That's the Russian bear. You see that? So the feet of the bear represent the legs at the bottom of the system. So when all of the Edomite kingdoms are waxing faint, Russia is going to be the last stronghold of the Edomite kingdoms, right? It's going to be the last stronghold, Gog and Magog of the Edomite kingdoms. Let's go on. Revelation, the 13th chapter, reading on. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion. The lion represents Great Britain, right? They represent Great Britain because the mouth represents the headquarters of financial policies. It represents the media and a lot of your elite bankers, your Rothschilds, your Rockefellers. Although they're allegedly German, their headquarters was in England. Okay, so the mouth of a lion represents Great Britain, right? England, lion. That's their symbol, not the lioness. That's their symbol. The lion is England's national animal and symbol, representing bravery, strength, and royalty. That's plain. So the mouth of it represents England. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And so the Roman Empire is the backbone, right? It's the backbone of this. That's how they get the power and authority on the earth. Let's go back to Revelation 17. All right. So now we understand what this scarlet colored beast is, right? So let's read it again. Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 7 horns. So this is an idolatrous system. That's what it means, full of names of blasphemy. That's what they're into: Epstein Islands, child molestation. They hate the Most High. They have whitewashed all of the images. They have destroyed the saints. They have done all these things. Revelation 17:4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And America, she gets you naked, but she herself is arrayed in all of the wealth and riches that she has stolen, right? This represents their economy, and this represents the amount of wealth that this society actually has. So she's decked with all types of stones and things that she stole from the other nations. Verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So America is the kingdom that nobody, now they know, but in time past, nobody knew that this society was the society that was destroying the earth. It was a mystery, right? Everybody thought that America was the police of the world, the great white hope, here to heal your children from sleeping sickness and malaria, here to show you how to be civilized. Here's a bank, a Walmart, a school system. Here's running water and plumbing and electricity. Here's running, here's roads and trains and how to transport things. America came off like they're a country that was set up to help. But when there is bombs and wars and confusion and evil and children going missing and lands being taken, nobody knew that America was the kingdom that's actually doing that. Right? Especially, primarily the people here in America. But now this mystery is being revealed. Like any mystery movie, right? It's only a matter for the mask is pulled off and everybody knows who's the damn, what they call them, the suspect, right? The suspect, he's finally revealed. So everybody's understanding that this is the abominations of the earth. And they have done nothing but murder, drop bombs, kill the ozone layer, destroy the water, you know? Verse 6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So there's a lot of Israelites that's dead here, man. And that will die in Babylon the Great. She's drunk with our blood. She has consumed our blood from slavery all the way up until 2026 AD. She's drunk with our blood. Verse 7, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath 7 heads and 10 horns. So the angel said, why are you marveling at this woman? Because remember, John actually saw a woman. He had this vision, but he didn't know what it meant. So he's captivated at what he's seeing. But the angel said, I'm about to break down to you what you're looking at and what it represents. Revelation 17:8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Right? And this is another dark saying that proves that America is that beast that we read about in Revelation, the 13th chapter, and Revelation, the 12th chapter. They're that same beast regenerated on the earth. That's what this is saying. Let's break it down again. Revelation 17:8. The beast that thou sawest, that's the scarlet colored beast, right? The beast that thou sawest was and is not. So the Roman Empire and that scarlet colored beast used to be here. It was here as the ancient Roman Empire. And it's not here now because the Roman Empire collapsed and fell in 476 AD. That's what the first part of this means. The beast that thou sawest was and is not. It used to be here and it's not here anymore because they fell by Germanic invasions. They fell by spreading their military too thin. They fell due to a debasement of currency. They fell with political corruption, political instability, civil unrest, civil wars, disease, and utter confusion and destruction. The exact same reasons on how and why the American Empire is collapsing to this day. The beast that thou sawest was and is not. And again, we're going to further touch on how this beast was and is not, if you understand. and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. So it's going to come back. It was here, and it's not, but it's going to come back, and it's going to come back as America. Right? Let's pause right here and get a quick precept on what this means, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7. It was here and is not, and is coming back out of the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit represents Europe. And let's read about this in Daniel chapter 7 and verse number 19, about the beast coming up out of the bottomless pit. Daniel 7 and 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And this is also talking about the Roman Empire, who had a strong military and crushed the previous kingdoms before it. Verse 20. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. So this Roman Empire had 10 horns, which represent your modern day EU. Let's pull up a modern EU nations. Okay. And they all had their ancient names, Belgica and the Lombards and the Burgundy, and these different Germanic and Roman tribes that they had. But this is the 10 horns. Out of the 10 horns came forth another little horn. That little horn is America. Right? Let's get a better map. Right? Let's see. Let's do original EU members. Right. Let's see. Formerly known as the European Economic Committee: Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands. All right. And then let's see NATO. Original NATO, because they go hand in hand. NATO members, which is your North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Italy, Portugal, France, UK, Belgium, Netherlands, Norway, right, etc. Right? Let's see, get another one. I want to get the original. That's all right. Right? You get the point. This is NATO. The point I want to show is the 10 horns represent NATO and the EU. All right? Primarily the European Union, but out of them came forth the little horn, which is America. That's the little horn in Daniel, the 7th chapter. That's what this means. It says, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, that's America, before whom 3 fell. So America came out of those Roman provinces. The province that America came out of was Britannia. Remember, America came out of Britain. They came out of Britain, and they took down Britain. They took down Spain, and they took down France. These are the 3 that fell. They took down France in the French Indian War. They took down France also in the Quasi War. And they purchased and bought out France with the Louisiana Purchase and took all their territories that they had in America. They took down Spain in the Spanish-American War. They took down England in two wars, right? The Revolutionary War and the War of 1812. That's how the three horns fell. So you had the ancient Roman Empire, and then throughout time, America came out of that ancient Roman Empire by coming out of that ancient Roman province of Britannia, which is modern day Britain. It reads, even if that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose lip was more stout than his fellows. In America, they speak more proudly than these other European kingdoms, these other European nations. So in Revelation, the 17th chapter, as we break it down further, let's read it again. Revelation 17:8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. So the Roman Empire was gone, or it was here, and then it was gone and it fell, but it's coming back as America. America came out of Europe. They came out of the bottomless pit, and it took down Spain, England, and France. This is how you have the American borders that you have to this day. Right? When you pull that up, let's pull that up again for brothers that may not have seen that. Right? Let's do France, England, and Spain. Right? America. Let's see if we can get the map. Right? Here's a better map, right? These are the three that fell. Right? Spain came out of Rome. Britain came out of Rome. France came out of Rome. Spain was Hispania, Britain was Britannia, and France was Gaul. America came out and took these three down. So they came out of the Roman Empire. And they're the new Roman Empire. So they came out of that bottomless pit. Let's read on. And in Revelation 17:8, and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. So this Roman Empire, that scarlet colored beast, that red dragon, it was here and then it fell. It's not here because the Roman Empire is no longer alive, but yet it is here because the Roman Empire is here as America. That's what this means. The beast was and is not and yet is. Let's break it down one more time. The beast is the scarlet colored beast. The same beast in Revelation, the 13th chapter, verses 1 and 2. The same beast in Revelation, the 12th chapter, the great red dragon. That beast was and is not, right? The beast used to exist. It fell in 476 AD. And it's not here anymore. But yet it is here as America. So Most High willing, everybody understands that. They came out and became the new Roman Empire. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. So the mountains represent the different kingdoms that we named, right? Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain. Those are the 7 mountains that America sat on, that they get their power from. Verse 10, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So out of the 7 kings, Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain, the 5 that fell is Greece, Spain, France, Germany, and Great Britain. Those are the 5 that fell. It says, and 1 is, the one that's still alive is the Roman Empire, right? Italy. And the other that's not yet come is Russia, because Russia didn't come a major empire until later. And they're going to continue for a short space because they're the feet of the bear. And you read about them in Ezekiel 38 and 39. So that's the 7 kings, the 5 that are fallen, and the one is, and the other's not yet come. The 7 are Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, and Great Britain. The 5 that are fallen is Greece, Spain, France, Germany, and Britain. And the other that's not yet come is Russia. That's going to continue for a short space as the feet of the bear, who are not a major part of the Roman Empire, but came later. And the beast that was, that's what they're called, the feet of the bear. Revelation 17 and 11. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. So America's the 8th, and they come of the 7. They came out of those 7 heads. They came out of those 10 horns. This is that modern day Roman Empire. The beast that was and is not and yet is the 8th head, which is America. And they're going to go into perdition and be destroyed. So America is an extension and a revised version of the ancient Roman Empire. You see the architecture, right? You look at, let's see, Roman, and I'm just, typing this in, American architecture. Right, let's see if they pull some comparisons. Same thing, right? DC was actually called Rome, right? When they started to begin to find the city and make it the capital, after they picked Philly, then they picked Annapolis, and eventually DC was the capital, and they were going to call it Rome. So this is modern day Rome. The architecture resembles Rome. Right? There's they called it New Rome. New Rome, Maryland. Let's see. New Rome, Washington, D.C. Right? Let's see if they give us that history. All right, check this out. Washington, D.C. is often called a New Rome or American Rome because the founding fathers intentionally designed the city to emulate the political, aesthetic, and moral ideas of the Roman Republic. Through neoclassical architecture, such as the Capitol Dome and the Lincoln Memorial, the Capitol projects an image of power, stability, and democratic virtue. So they did this by design, right? They did this by design, and they give you a lot of different examples. And here's the part I wanted when they knew they were going to call this Rome. Check this out, Rome on the Potomac. Historically, part of the area that became Washington, D.C. was jokingly referred to as Rome, Maryland, or Rome on the Potomac early on. So early in the 1700s, 1800s, they were calling D.C. Rome. Everybody knew it as Rome. Poet Thomas More dubbed it a modern Rome in 1804, noting the city's rapid development and ambition to become a global capital. All right, so this is nothing but modern day Rome. The Capitol building, modeled after the Roman temple architecture. Union Station, modeled after the Roman triumphal arch. Jefferson Memorial, inspired by the Roman Pantheon. Library of Congress features a fountain similar to the Trevi Fountain. And we can go on and on and on of the similarities between ancient Rome. This is just architecture. We're not even talking about the fact that America and its political system is a democratic republic. And Rome was a republic. And there are so many different similarities between America and Rome, right? Let's see if we can just type this in one more time, right? Or for edification's sake, similarities between Rome and America. Let's just see what they give us, right? Let's see. Republic structure, we talked about that. The government terms, the U.S. presidency mirrors the powers of a Roman council, while the veto and filibuster are modern usages of Roman parliamentary methods. Yeah, all law goes in the most laws, all laws rather, are in Latin, right? When you study the judicial system, it's in Latin because it was the language of the Roman Empire. They're superpowers, they're melting pots, right? Same thing. Cultural focus. Similar to Rome, the United States developed a sense of manifest destiny. And Rome had that same complex, right? They're one and the same, right? They're literally one and the same. Out of many, one. And you see they have a Roman fasci right here at the bottom. A Roman fasci was a bundle of sticks which represented strength in numbers, right? Represented strength in numbers, where all people of different lifestyles fall under the umbrella of the Roman Empire, and that's how they get their strength. All right. So this is the exact same thing. Exact same thing. Now, Rome and America share similarities in their creation, but also in their destruction, right? They also share similarities in their own destruction. And that's why I wanted to touch on this as well through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Well, I want to play this quick clip on how did Rome fall. Right? Let's play this quick clip through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. We got a lot we touching on through the spirit. So let's play this. Why did Rome fall? Then I'm gonna go to a quick article.
One of the greatest powers the world had ever seen.
It's all fair use.
For centuries, its armies ruled, its roads connected continents, and its culture shaped civilizations. But in 476 CE, it all came crashing down. How could an empire so mighty, so advanced, simply collapse? Rome's fall wasn't sudden. It was centuries in the making. Corruption, civil wars, and weak leadership.
You heard that? Corruption, civil wars, and weak leadership. Think about Babylon the Great. Corruption. What's going on with the Epstein files? That's corruption. What's going on with these presidents and their sex scandals? That's corruption. What's going on with men taking bribes in the White House, being bought out by the so-called Jew? Congress, the Senate, being bought out by Jewish lobbies or Jewish men that are taking over the Congress. That's corruption. Sex trafficking rings in the Pentagon. Lewdness, freakism, robbery, extortion. That is corruption. It also said civil wars. You may say, well, ain't no civil wars. There will be civil wars. You think they made that movie Civil War for no reason? You think they made that to make a box office hit? No, they made that for predictive programming to show you that America is about to collapse. And Rome also fell due to weak leadership. Aren't Biden and Trump pivotal examples of weak leadership? This dude Biden could barely, he's not even a real guy. He has a 50 mask on. Who is that guy? He was delirious, senile, bugged out. groping little kids publicly. He did that stuff publicly. Ain't nobody say nothing. Well, no outcry. This guy Trump is corrupt. He's a felon. And they have him on file doing things to children. And he's a very weak leader. Easily persuaded, bought out, and an outright criminal. But that's how the Roman Empire fell. That's how the ancient Roman Empire fell.
Drained its strength.
It drained the strength of Rome. Corruption, civil wars, and weak leadership.
The empire stretched from Great Britain to the Middle East, a territory so vast it became nearly impossible to govern.
It said the territory became so vast they couldn't govern it. Think about America. They have stretched out so far that they can't govern or defend themselves anymore. That's why you have so-called invasions of immigrants. You can't control the borders. You have military being sent to Iran right now. They can't defend them out there, man. They can't defend all these military bases around the world when World War III kick off. They spread too thin. Arms too short. Right? So they said the territory of the ancient Roman Empire became so vast, it was nearly impossible to govern or defend.
Heavy taxes, inflation, and economic decline pushed citizens into poverty.
Heavy taxes, inflation. I'm going to play the whole thing straight through afterwards, but I got to pause it, right? Taxes, inflation, and economic decline. I don't have to do a breakdown on taxes. You see what's going on with inflation as they continually ramp up the money supply in quantity, but not in value. So the value of the dollar is diminished the more that you push into the market, the supply chain, the more that you circulate or push it to circulation. And it's economic decline. There are potholes everywhere. The bridges are collapsing. The infrastructure is falling apart. The train tracks are all busted up. The airports are being shut down. All hell is breaking loose, man. You can't even travel in America anymore. You got people, they showing up at the airport 6 hours early and they can't catch a flight. You see old railroads that used to be a big thing just beat up, huh? You see bridges that haven't been inspected. They got the date on there made, in the early 1900s. Ain't nobody checking on them bridges, man. They're going to start collapsing on people. Architecture's outdated. America's getting surpassed by China, Singapore, Japan. They're falling behind. Economic decline.
Poverty, while dependence on slave labor stifled innovation. Beyond its borders,
It said they were dependent on slave labor. Because these so-called white people, man, they don't do the hard work. They're not farmers. They're not agriculturalists anymore, right? They're not laborers. They depend on the children of Israel, primarily of the northern kingdom, to keep this society going from an agricultural standpoint. So that's how Rome fell too. It said dependence on slave labor stifled innovation. And that's why America, from a technological standpoint, they are falling behind in the world ranking of intelligence.
Enemies grew bolder. Germanic tribes, the Huns, and others launched repeated invasions, exploiting Rome's weakened defenses.
And they said other countries launched invasions. That's what Iran is doing. That's what Russia is going to do. China is going to do. North Korea is going to do. Pakistan is going to do.
410 CE, the Visigoths shocked the world by sacking Rome itself, proving the empire was no longer untouchable. By 476 CE, the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic general Odo Acer, marking the symbolic end of the empire. Some historians argue that faith and religion shifted Rome's priorities and weakened its traditional values. Others believe
So they said decadence. They lost traditional values. America lost their traditional values. Right? America used to believe in a nuclear family with a father and a mother. You watch them old Edomite TV shows, man. Them Leave It to Beavers, them Brady Bunches. You see how Esau had traditional values. The mother was a stay-at-home mother. The father would work his job. He would come in with his briefcase. He would say, "Honey, I'm home." The wife would get the apple pie out the windowsill. You know, she'll have her apron on. He'll go make him a martini, you know, or he'll pour himself a scotch as he sits down and listens to Lucy, his daughter, do her piano recital. And his son had the cowboy hat on, man, with the damn Indian, the cowboy and Indian running around, and you know, that was the American lifestyle. Teenagers, they grow up and they had to putting money in a damn jukebox with a varsity jacket on, drinking a milkshake, taking people to homecoming. You know, all that stuff is over with, man. They were going to college. They were starting families. They were buying houses like at the age of damn 30, 28 probably, 25. $2,500, they got a new house. And they were telling their children, you better not be dating them damn niggers. You know? Now look at the so-called white family. Their women are dating Jake men. Their Edomite men are marrying so-called black women. They're all half of them are homosexuals. Their divorce rate is at an all-time high. None of them are Christians anymore. House all broken up. They're all on meth. 90% of all white men are into little boys and little girls. Tim Tebow said it. How do you know that? Go see what Tim Tebow put out there, man. Timothy Tebow. He pulled the map up and showed you. He said 80 to 90% of all white men are unregistered sex offenders, middle-aged white men. And these Edomite men, they don't want to come home. They don't want to come home, man. And while they at work, these Edomite women, hey, I'm going on a rant, but that's all right. They popping pills. Them Edomite women, they popping pills, man. They on Xannies. Trying to cope in their mind how to stay married to the Edomite that was putting on their panties. They caught their husband putting on their panties and they bra, and they act like they didn't see it, so they got to pop all these damn pills, man. And these Edomite households, Jake, I don't know why you envy them, man. Their houses are completely dysfunctional. The men dress up like the women when the woman ain't around. The women know that the Edomite man is a homosexual and a child molester, so they popping all these damn pills, getting drunk, fantasizing about Jake, man. Stop envying your oppressor. I would hate, And they be touching them little boys, man. Them little boys grow up, now they shooting up the school. Esau, he can't get intimate with his woman in the bed anymore. So now he come in his daughter's room and he pop his daughter, touch his son. His son all angry. He taking an AR-15 to the school, shooting up the school. I would hate to be an Edomite in the year 2026. They are completely dysfunctional and have lost every traditional value that they've ever had. So like I had to go on a rant. But that's how Rome fell.
Overexpansion and sheer exhaustion doomed it.
It said overexpansion. So them going to Iran right now, that's overexpansion. Sending 5,000 troops, overexpansion. More U.S. enterprise ships or carriers, overexpansion.
Truth, Rome fell not from a single cause, but from a storm of crises, political, economic, cultural, and military, all converging over time. Rome's glory endured for centuries, overflowing with wealth and power, yet even the greatest empire proved mortal. Like and subscribe for more fascinating history and facts. The Roman Empire.
I'm going to play this one straight through.
One of the greatest powers the world had ever seen. For centuries, its armies ruled, its roads connected continents, and its culture shaped civilizations. But in 476 CE, it all came crashing down. How could an empire so mighty, so advanced, simply collapse? Rome's fall wasn't sudden. It was centuries in the making. Corruption, civil wars, and weak leadership drained its strength. The empire stretched from Great Britain to the Middle East, a territory so vast it became nearly impossible to govern or defend. Heavy taxes, inflation, and economic decline pushed citizens into poverty, while dependence on slave labor stifled innovation. Beyond its borders, enemies grew bolder. Germanic tribes, the Huns, and others launched repeated invasions, exploiting Rome's weakened defenses. In 410 CE, the Visigoths shocked the world by sacking Rome itself, proving the empire was no longer untouchable. By 476 CE, the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic general Odo Acer, marking the symbolic end of the empire. Some historians argue that faith and religion shifted Rome's priorities and weakened its traditional values. Others believe overexpansion and sheer exhaustion doomed it. In truth, Rome fell not from a single cause, but from a storm of crises, political, economic, cultural, and military, all converging over time. Rome's glory endured for centuries, overflowing with wealth and power, yet even the greatest empire proved mortal.
Even the greatest empire proved mortal. Right? Let me get a quick precept on this. Right? Even the greatest empire proved mortal. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. Right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 15. So you see how Rome fell. And you can't tell me that America is not collapsing and falling in the exact same fashion. Right? You can't tell me. We see it happening. And this war with Iran is further proof that this is the collapse of the Roman Empire 2.0. The beast that was and is not and yet is. And the Lord said it shall go into perdition. So it's going to be destroyed. Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past. So people come back on the earth again. This is regeneration. Empires come back on the earth, right? People's demeanor, their behavior, everything repeats itself with Yahweh Shai. So there are, different cycles that the Most High deals with. And this entire kingdom is back on the earth again. That same Roman Empire that persecuted Yahweh Shai, killed the apostles and prophets, and that collapsed in 476 AD, it's here right now, right? And it's another thing I wanted to touch on. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it's a key part. This from May 1st, 2024, but it's something I want to touch on. How military strategy caused the fall of the Roman Empire, right? So I'm gonna scroll down, And there's a key part I want on this. It says, let's see. I'll just read this right here. I'm not going to read. If you want to read the rest of this whole article on your own, you can. But I just want to read this first part and then move on. The Roman Empire, arguably one of the most powerful historical empires, spanned the course of over 400 years. Just like America, right? Just about, right? 1600s all the way on out. And was known for its political, social, and economic expertise. However, most importantly, the Roman military expertise let them take over large expanses of land and rule over them effectively. And remember, America, they're an empire. They have different territories. When you pull up, let's see, all map of all American territories. Okay, let's get a better map. Let's see. Right, all this is owned by America. Guam, Wake Island, and Midway Islands, Hawaii, all these islands, Samoa, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, it's all owned by America. This is their empire, right? This is their empire. This is all their territories on the earth that they have. It's a vast empire, a vast kingdom with military bases, again, all over the world, right? So let's go back to this. Right? So it says it let them take over a large expanse of land and rule over them effectively, just like America. The Roman military conquered the entire Mediterranean Sea, Mare Internum, and stretched all the way from modern-day England to Egypt. They were able to control this much land at one time because their military prowess allowed them to export their ideals, culture, and practices across the Mediterranean. That's Americanization, where American society and their way of life and their food and how they dress and their music and their political ideology spread throughout the known world, and everybody adopted it. Americanization, just like Rome did. However, overextension and a strain of weak emperors led the massive Roman Empire to collapse due to barbarians. And right now, they're looking at Iran, the Houthis, as barbarians. And they're going to fall by barbarians the same way they fell by barbarians. They have overextended their kingdom, and they have weak emperors like Trump, who said the war is over. He's the leader of the free world and said the war is over. Then he said today, what's your plan? He said, I don't know yet. I don't know what I want to do. I've never seen somebody so sick and incompetent and unfit to lead in anything. I'm saying anything. I'm talking jobs, sports, coaches, bosses, CEOs, supervisors. He is the least competent, least qualified individual in any role that anybody has ever had and will have in the world of roles. I mean, this guy this is madness. And you get back to back. You get Biden, then you get this guy. Weak emperors. Now he's not really an emperor. Let me qualify that. He's the face. But the Most High said he will put a spirit on this society and cause them to make these bad decisions, right? Let's get that in Isaiah the 19th chapter, right? So the Lord actually overthrew the Roman Empire, right? With a particular demon. And that same demon that was used to overthrow the Roman Empire is now being used to overthrow Rome 2.0. And it's in Isaiah the 19th chapter. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 14. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. So there's an actual perverse spirit, there's an actual demon that came from the heavenly world, the heavenly realm, the third heaven, if you can understand. And the Lord sent that spirit to come down and work on the mind of these Edomites in the last days. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Kennedys, these top elite families that actually control puppets or control, Netanyahu, that control Donald Trump, that control all these Stromer and these different men. And they're caught, that demon is causing Egypt, which is modern day America, to err in every work thereof. They know they have no business fighting this war. They know that the American public does not support them. They know that they are spread too thin. They know that they cannot afford another war. They know that they actually do war simulations. They do this. I remember we was going into that years ago, where they do war simulations with China. And it says every time they lose, America. Right, let me see. Let me pull that up. They've done this years ago. Did America lose war simulator with China? Let's see. Right, it says now they kind of switching it up, but it says war game simulations regarding a China-US conflict. See, I don't want over Taiwan. Right? Let's see. Let's do World War III. It says recent US-China war simulations regarding a Taiwan conflict. See, they keep trying to relegate me to this, relegated to this Taiwan conflict. But let's see. It says show that while the US can successfully defend Taiwan, it often suffers massive losses, including sunken carriers and thousands of troops, leading to a Pyrrhic victory rather than an outright defeat. Several simulations, such as those by Rand Corporation, have suggested that in specific scenarios, U.S. forces could be defeated in their backyards. So they do simulations where America loses. Right? They lose aircraft carriers, they lose thousands of people, lose ships. So they know that they're not going to survive World War III. But yet they're still provoking a war, because the Lord is doing that. He's causing them to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. And that's why, again, they're deploying additional troops. Right? Let's play this devil, see what he got to say. Right? Let me play this clip. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Awashai. Right? This guy, man. Check this out. All fair use.
Israel is calling for a ceasefire in the Middle East and to reopen dialogue. What do you say to folks?
Well, look, we can have dialogue, but I don't want to do a ceasefire.
I don't want to do a ceasefire. It's in America's best interest to have a ceasefire. But they don't want to do a ceasefire because they want America to collapse. When they told Trump about gas prices and oil prices, he said it is what it is. And people have to suffer, they have to suffer. So they want civil unrest. They want looting. They want robbing. So they can come in with martial law and try to bring in their new world order. So he don't want to do a ceasefire. And they believe that that's the best way, it's like the best way to go.
You know, you don't do a ceasefire when you're literally obliterating the other side. They don't have a Navy.
He said they don't have a Navy.
They don't have an Air Force.
They don't have an Air Force.
They don't have any equipment.
They don't have any equipment, but they just launched a missile that went about 4,000 kilometers out. They just shot down one of your F-32 fighter jets, but yet they don't have any equipment. Matter of fact, they shot down like 12 of them, but they don't have any equipment. They got missiles coming out of the desert like a damn groundhog, like a prairie dog that just pops up out the ground. They got missiles just popping up out the ground. So we don't believe him, huh? They don't have any equipment. He must have forgot that this is the age of information.
Obliterating the other side. They don't have a Navy. They don't have an Air Force. They don't have any equipment. They don't have any spotters. They don't have anti-aircraft. They don't have radar. And their leaders have all been killed at every level.
Their leaders, this double proud. Their leaders have all been killed.
We're not looking to do that.
We're not looking to do that, right? So they're sending at least 5,000 more troops, right? So let me hold on. Let me play this or share this through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah. So they have overexpanded their military, right? They have overexpanded their military. It says, so now it went from a 3-day war to 8,000 Marines staging a land invasion. They say, told you this was Vietnam 2.0. Look at this, 8,000 troops. And they're all going to die. They're all going to die, every one of them. They're not coming back. And if they do come back, they're coming back in them caskets. Look at them. This is bad. This is bad. 8,000 troops. That's how Rome fell. Poor military strategy. See, the Most High said they would do this. They would overexpand. The scriptures say, let me get this in Psalms 37 and 35. Right? Psalms chapter 37 and 35. The Lord said what? I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. And this is David, really in the spirit, is prophesying of Babylon the Great. He saw them in great power, top GDP, great influence in the world, top kingdom, and spreading themselves like a green bay tree. So they're spreading themselves all over the world, all their philosophies, all their religions, all their ideologies, and all their weapons, all their jets, all their military, right? This is them overextending and expanding, right? Let's go to Isaiah the 10th chapter, right? This is Isaiah chapter 10 and verse number 13. This is another prophecy of America and their military expansion. For he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent. And I have removed the bounds of the people, and have robbed their treasures, and I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. And this is the so-called white man boasting about the power that he thinks that he has, and he has no power. The only power he has is the power that the Most High gave him to be the wicked and to be a vessel fit for destruction. The Lord made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. But he in his mind, he's boasting about the world that he has conquered. That's what this is talking about. The psychopath of the psychopathic mind of the so-called white man, boasting about how he robbed the earth. Let me read it again. For he said, by the strength of my hand, I have done it. I have done what? I have raped, robbed, and murdered and conquered the earth. I have enslaved God's chosen people. I have defied the heavens. I have made myself a God. And by my wisdom, for I am prudent, and I have removed the bounds of the people. And he has removed the bounds of the people. He's taken lands, removed the landmark, put us on ships, told you Palestinians, I'm going to remove your bounds and push you over here. Told the so-called Jew, I'm going to remove your bounds and put you in the land. He's removing the bounds of the people and robbed their treasures. And I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. And my hand hath found as a nest the riches of the people. And as one gathereth eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth. And there was none that moved the wing, or opened the mouth, or peeped. So that's them talking, they talk. That they have gathered all the earth. Military bases, embassies, banks everywhere, the dollar reserve, and all these foreign countries, they have gathered indeed all the earth. All right. And they have overexpanded. Right. Again, U.S. rushes thousands of Marines to the Middle East. Thousands of Marines, man. This is going to get bad. Them Iranians, they don't want no peace treaty. They don't want a ceasefire. Them Iranians are talking talk, man. They want blood. You done killed their leader. Destroyed it. You've been oppressing the earth. They said we taking this to the end. That's what Iran said. So they're going to send these troops over there. These troops are going to get killed. Then they're going to send more troops. And then slowly but surely, this war is going to lead to economic instability, financial instability, and it's going to lead to these prices going up. You see these prices going up already. You see gas prices. They bombed the gas field, the oil field in Qatar and Saudi Arabia. So this ain't slowing down anytime soon. This is not slowing down anytime soon. This is hold on, what's this? Let me see. They're saying this now. Hold on. Make sure my screen is showing. All right, they're saying even if you did fix things, they say restoring oil flow from the Gulf, meaning the Persian Gulf, could take 6 months. IEA chief. That's what he said. So this thing, even if you stopped right now and said we want to stop the war, let's cease and just everybody fall back, it's still going to take 6 months for things to go back to normal. Because they've done so much damage already. It's not just, okay, I'm going to turn this off and everything goes back to normal in 1 week or 2 weeks. They've done so much damage to the global energy supply, to the global gas supply, and global oil supply, with the Strait of Hormuz being shut and all these bombs dropping, targeting energy centers, that it's going to take, and that's right now. That's what, how many days of war has it been? Like 2 weeks or so? 2 weeks of war, they say the turnaround time to fix everything is 6 months. So when this war lasts for 6 more months, you're not going to restore the earth. You can't restore it. The people are already going to be dying because of a famine. Economies are already going to be collapsing. It's only been like 2 weeks, and they're saying it's 6 months to fix everything. So this thing is getting bad. It's getting bad. I mean, it's good for us. All praise to Yahweh Shemi Abashai. It's horrible for the nations, right? It says the International Energy Agency chief Fatih Birol warned in an interview with the Financial Times on Friday that it could take up to 6 months to restore oil and gas flows from the Gulf, saying the world is facing what could be the most severe energy crisis in history. This is a big deal. This is coming from the International Energy Agency chief. No diesel, no oil. Don't you know ships operate on diesel? Farming equipment operates on diesel. Cars, manufacturing, food distribution, the entire 100% of the supply chain is going to be affected by this. Think about food distribution. Think about how food is exported from these Gulf states and from other parts of the earth to feed entire cities, countries. When they can't, this thing is about to get bad. Somebody said fertilizer. Yeah, there's a fertilizer shortage. So we have to really understand what's at stake and how horrible it's going to be for those that aren't under the protection of Yahweh and his only begotten son, Yahweh Shah. This is about to be the most severe energy crisis in history. It will be 6 months or some. For some sites to be operational, others much longer. Barrow said politicians and markets were underestimating the scale of the disruption, with around 1/5 of global oil and gas supplies effectively stranded in the region. 20% of global oil and gas stranded. That's why it says what? This is from Al Jazeera. Not just energy, how the Iran war could trigger a global food crisis. And prices are already going up right now. Why this live is happening? There's a fertilizer shortage. There's a diesel shortage, oil shortage, petroleum shortage. Look at this. The crisis of a fertilizer shortage threatens global food security amid Iran war. So you need the fertilizer. How else are you going to be able to grow your crops without the fertilizer? That's the Bible speaks about digging about and dunging and taking care of that and husbandry. A lot of these ancient nations or these nations still rely on husbandry. But the Americans, man, they're gonna lose their mind. These people in America, they eat round the clock 24/7. DoorDash, Postmates, vending machine, Instacart. They got damn candy they gotta eat. They got like I said, vending machines. You got a deep freezer. Then you got your regular freezer. Then your regular refrigerator. Then you got for delivery, carry out, pick up, and then you waste food. Nobody wastes more food than the average American. Let me see this. How much food does the average American waste? God damn. Approximately 30 to 40% of the US food supply is wasted annually. 40%? 40%? Amounting to nearly 60 million tons or over 120 billion pounds of food discarded each year. This wasted food is valued at 161 billion, with household waste contributing roughly 40 to 50% of the total, making food the largest component in landfills. Damn. 60 million tons of food being wasted. They're going to want that food in the days of famine. They're going to wish they had that food. 60 million tons. Make it make sense, right? Make it make some damn sense, man. Right? So again, you're going to have this famine. The famine is Bible prophecy, and the famine is inevitable, and the famine is going to be very, very bad. Right? Let's go to Ezekiel. Right? Let's go to Ezekiel, the 7th chapter. It's going to get very bad out here, man. If you're not under the protection of Yahweh Shemiah Shai, you're going to get caught out there. This Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse number 15. It reads, "The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him." So the sword is without. Without meaning outside the city. There's war without. There's war in Iran. There's war in the Middle East. But there's going to be famine within the borders of America. If you live in the field, you're a farmer, you think you can live off grid, you live in a rural area where your life is dependent on how many crops you grow for the year, you're going to die through robbery, through war. And if you're in the city, major cities, even if it's not a major city like LA, New York, or Dallas or Houston, even smaller cities, these people are going to get devoured by the famine. People are going to be looting, robbing, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen slowly but surely. See, right now, people aren't thinking about a famine. You're just thinking about gas prices going up. They're not understanding that the supply chain that affects America is about to be completely disrupted. The food at your local supermarket, your local grocery store, does not just pop up out of thin air. The people that work in the back, when I was like 20 years old, I worked at a grocery store, man. Right? Them trucks come in and I was like 20. And they bring the stuff out, you stock it up on the shelf. That stuff don't just pop up. When you work in supply chain or study supply chain, and you like I say, food distribution, you understand how detrimental a lack of diesel is going to be to food distribution and how people receive food. You have local vendors and vendors that may be regional that give food to your local food distribution center. Look up where you get your food from. You have US Foods, you have Cisco Foods, you have these different food distribution sites. Those are the major ones in America. You have Giant, you have other ones. They have truck drivers that work for them, 80 to 100 to 120 truck drivers. People order the food every day. They put orders in every day. Restaurants, bars, fast food places, supermarkets, grocery stores. If those trucks don't have diesel, they cannot transport food from the food distribution site to your local supermarket. And if they do transport it, the cost and the price is going to be so high for transportation that price of that food is going to have to be high just to compensate the vendor and the food distribution place. So you get a gallon of milk. The gallon of milk is going to be $40 to cover the cost that they have to pay to get it there. And they have to pay the food distribution site. Loaf of bread, $30. Meat, $60. So not only is the food supply going to be limited, but supply and demand tells you what? When there's a high demand and limited supply, not only do prices go up, but people start bugging out. You know, people start bugging out and those type of matters, man. And they start taking. At first, they might ask. Then they're going to start taking and robbing and looting. People going to be robbing trucks, man. People going to see these trucks with food on it. They're going to try to strong arm and rob them drivers, man. And pull them over like this is a third world country, say lift open the back, and they're going to take them cases of food off of there, man. And some of them drivers, they're going to take that food home. Well, I don't know what happened. I lost this food. I lost this case. I lost a pallet, of rice, and they took it home. So everybody's going to start making decisions, man. Right? Everybody's going to start making decisions. Let's go to Second Esdras. Right? You might own a restaurant. You're expecting the truck of food to get there. The driver, he made a shortcut. Took a detour. He went home. He opened it up and he dropped something off to his family and he took the rest to you and said they forgot to put it on the truck. I don't know where it is. This is Second Esdras, chapter 16 and verse number 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. It's going to get bad out here. This war is not just about missiles. It's about a famine that's coming. First, is going to really affect the people that's in that area. Them countries in that area, they're going to die the most. Right? Them Gulf states, them African countries that need that, other countries that's, they're going to die the most because they're directly affected. Then it's going to come to America and other parts of the world. Right? Your local grocery store, they ain't going to have food on the shelf. Many people are going to die of a famine, not just 5 and 10. Many people on the earth. And if you survive the famine, you're going to die by the sword. So there's no way out for the wicked. There's no way out for the wicked. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. Why is the earth going to be wasted? Because of the bombs, because of the missiles dropping. There's going to be dead bodies everywhere. Nobody to operate the trucks, nobody to operate the ships. You know, and them ships, they bring in a lot of food too, man. The merchant ships. I tell you that in Proverbs 31 about the merchant ships. Let me get that real quick. It says she's like a merchant ship in Proverbs, the 31st chapter, right? Let me get that. Proverbs 31:14. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. So ancient ships, even today, a lot of ships bring in a lot of food, man, from around the world. And if these ships not bringing in food, then the people, they not going to be eating. In the ancient world, they knew ships transported food. Let's go to Ezekiel 27. Ezekiel chapter 27 and 33. When thy wares is merchandise. It could be food, medicine, automobile parts. You know, it could be technology parts. It could be all types of stuff. Microchips and motherboards and all types of things. These are wares. When you have a place where you store a bunch of ware, it's called obviously a warehouse, right? So it reads, when thy wares went forth out of the seas, thou filledst many people. Thou didst enrich the kings of the earth with the multitude of thy riches and of thy merchandise. So there are ships that carry food and other goods that people rely on. Many people get filled up off the ships, man. These ships operate on diesel. You operate off the oil. They need that. You got islands like Australia, Hawaii, other islands, Japan. They need that. They need these ships to have enough in the tank to give them food. And if they don't have it, they're going to die. That's what the Bible is saying right now. Many people are filled by the exports of food and other merchandise. Let's go to Revelation, the 18th chapter. Right? Revelation. I'm going to get straight to the point. Chapter 18 and verse number 17. Actually, I want 14. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. And people, man, they lust after the things that these ships bring in. They need that stuff, man. What are America's top imports? Let's see. What are America's top imports? Let's see. Machinery, electrical equipment, vehicles, pharmaceuticals. Right? Let's see how much food is imported to America. How much food is imported? Okay, they say 20%. Less than 20% of U.S. food and beverage spending. It's lucky. In 2023, imports accounted for less than 20% of total U.S. food and beverage spending. Let's see. The United States imported a record $213 billion in agricultural products in 2024. A significant increase from $194 billion in 2022. So they're relying every year, it seems as though it's more and more on agricultural products coming in, more food. About 50% of U.S. agricultural imports are horticultural products, fruits, vegetables, tree nuts, coffee, cocoa, alcohol, seafood. 44% of all fruits and nuts and 35% of vegetables are imported. That's a lot. It's actually a lot. You may say, well, it's not that much. That's a lot. Because they're not going to be able to grow crops in America either. The Most High going to shut this whole thing down. Remember in 2nd Ezra 15, let me go to 2nd Ezra 15. Because the Most High say he's going to shut down this whole farming system. Right? This 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse number, let's see, 13. I'm going to start at 12. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail. Through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. So let's say you got 20% of all food coming to America, 44% fruits and vegetables, 35% nuts, other things. That's going to shut down. Then the difference, let's say you got, let's say 75% that you grow domestically, the Most High say he's going to shut all that down. And you're not going to be able to grow anything. See, America, they're going to need them imports because the Lord going to disrupt all them farming hands through blasting, through mildew, through disease in the crops. And these farmers ain't going to have no green thumb. So people are going to starve. People are going to starve, right? People are going to starve. They're not going to have any food, and they're going to be caught out there. Let's go to First Maccabees, right? Let's go to First Maccabees, chapter 13. This First Maccabees, chapter 13, and verse number 49. Here's the effect of a famine. They also of the tower in Jerusalem were kept so straight that they could neither come forth, nor go into the country, nor buy, nor sell. Wherefore they were in great distress for want of victuals, Slakia, and a great number of them perished through famine. You see that? The people were in great distress. They couldn't buy anything. They couldn't sell anything. They lacked food, and a great number of them perished through famine. So this thing, like I said, this thing is going to get real, man. The effects of war are going to get real. And it's going to hit home. Right now, we, as long as the Most High has mercy on us, and we believe in Yahweh Basham Yahushua, and we believe the promises, we believe the prophecies, we'll be fine. We'll be just fine through the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham Yahushua. But for the heathen, they're not going to be fine. Right? That's why it's important to make sure you're on the right side of Yahweh Basham Yahushua. Because this thing is real, man. Right? How the Iran war, Slakia, could trigger a global food crisis. Let's see. I'm going to read a little of this, then I'm going to jump down. Let's see. I want to get straight to the point. But experts say a parallel crisis is looming, a considerable threat to global food insecurity caused by a looming shortage of fertilizer, essential for food production. So imagine that. There's no fertilizer. The Lord is overthrowing the seeds, and he won't allow the farmers to grow anything pursuant to 2nd Ezra 15, and the imports are going to be shut down. It's a recipe for millions of people to die. It's in the Bible, right? It's in the Bible. This is the Strait of Hormuz. And with no oil going out due to war, no ships are going to be able to transport anything. So they're saying, why is there a shortage of fertilizer? Nearly half of, Slakia, I'm not going to read this whole thing. Nearly half of the world's traded urea, the most widely used fertilizer, and a large volume of other fertilizers are exported from Gulf countries via the Strait of Hormuz, making global agriculture highly exposed to any disruption there. Recent disruptions to gas supplies and shipping have already forced fertilizer plants, which use natural gas to manufacture fertilizer in the Gulf and beyond, to shut or cut their output. The U.S. is already close to 25% short of fertilizer supply for this time of year. Yeah, it's bad. Man, they're not going to have no fertilizer, no seeds growing, no imports. People want to panic. Bangladesh, they shut down 4 of its 5 fertilizer factories. India, they cut output from their own urea plants. Right? This is getting real, man. Look at this. How much of the world's fertilizer does the Gulf produce? According to one shipping services company, the Signal Group, 20% of the world's fertilizer originates in the Gulf, while 46% of global urea supply comes from the Gulf. And if they tied into a war, 50% of the world, they're not going to have fertilizer to grow any crops. Imagine that. Half of the world won't be able to grow anything. And they don't have the convenience that America has with fast food and supply, food chains and, damn IHOPs and Chick-fil-A's and McDonald's. They need that. They really need that. Like I said, you got countries, man, they got oxen. They got sheep. They need to eat. Them animals need that. If them animals can't eat, man, because it ain't no crops growing, then it's over. It's a complete overthrow of an entire economy and will plunge them into the dark ages. That's how bad things are about to get. That's why the scriptures say this in 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And people are going to be warring over food. Your neighbor going to find out that you got food. And like I always say, you're going to get this knock. It's going to be a nice knock at first. They're going to be asking. Then they're going to say, please. And then they're going to be banged. Then it's going to turn to this. And they're going to be beating at the door. And they might have people with them. He might have and people are going to start living together. I would like to think, I could be wrong, but when stuff really get high and people want to start moving in together, for food and for defense, for protection, saving energy, and they're going to hear that, and they're going to be kicking in the door, and you're going to be holding that door down. Then you're going to see people banging on your window. There's somebody trying to go through your back door. You only got 2 arms, and you're using them arms to stop them from beating in that front door. But you hear them beating in that back door. So you can't put 2 arms here and then go and stop that. So you're going to have to figure this thing out. And if they come in through that back door and you see them creeping in through that window, because they caught you eating a loaf of bread, man, or a jar of peanut butter or a can of beans, they not asking for that. They going to take it. They might tie you up, hit you upside the head, man. People, you may say, well, you're over dramatic. It ain't over dramatic. Ain't nothing over dramatic and fantasized about that. That's the real deal. It's right there. It's in the scriptures. It says they shall destroy your house with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 16. Right? This thing is real, man. This is not a game. This is not a joke. Now, again, I have to always say the servants of the Most High are going to be just fine. They're going to be taken care of. But the rest of the heathen, man, it's going to be bad. It's going to be very, very bad. I can't say that enough. Right? I can't say that enough. 2nd Ezra. What I want 16, and I believe I read this. 2nd Ezra 16 and 28. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. So it's going to be 10 people left in the city, a small remainder. City might have 500,000 people. And the famine, it might be 600 people left. Right? That's how bad it's going to be. This is from Morona Yearbook. Iran war may push 45 million into acute hunger globally. And we kind of talked about this. Right? The United Nations World Food Program has warned that the total number of people around the world facing acute levels of hunger could reach record numbers in 2026 if the escalation in the Middle East continues. Right? And Yahushua prophesied of the famine. He prophesied that there would be no food. Right? And you're going to see these prices keep going up, man. It's going to keep going up and keep going up, and people going to be looting and robbing. Now, believe it or not, a lot of countries are actually putting together policies and laws to adapt to the rising prices of gas and oil. Some countries are telling their citizens that you have to shut everything down by 9 p.m. You can only travel this far. Right? Spain said that nobody has to pay rent. Right? We're going to work with you. So a lot of these countries, lifestyles are beginning to change. And what was normal is now becoming unnormal or abnormal. And life is going to change for the average American citizen. And all this vacation, you see, people can't even fly. You see Houston, Denver, Philly, ain't going to be no more flights. Whatever your last flight was, I hope you enjoyed it. Because you try to catch a flight now, it's going to be hell and high waters. All that cross-country tour, I want to drive across the country. You're not going to make it. Can't afford it. People got 2-hour commutes to work, an hour commute to work, and they're going to have to make some decisions. Do I want to work at the local fish hut, chicken hut for $15 an hour? Or do I want to spend $100 every 3 days for this hour-plus commute and traffic to work? Is it worth it? People have to make these decisions. Are you going to work at the chicken hut, or are you going to work at your banking job? Are you going to work at, people going to have to do both. People going to pick up 2 jobs. All that, I don't work at McDonald's. Or I don't know. People going to be working at McDonald's. I can't do 2 jobs. People going to be figuring out that they're going to need 2 jobs. You know? Luke 21 and verse 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. And you're going to have these famines, right? And it's going to cut down hundreds of thousands, Slakia, millions of people, right? Check this out. A crisis is brewing in the U.S. as workers say they can no longer afford gas. Let's play this audio. They can no longer afford gas, right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmiawashad, all hell is breaking loose. Are you watching what the Most High is doing in the earth? Are you watching? Fair use.
This is high. 469 is definitely one of the highest I've seen it, and I've been here 27 years now, so that's something to say. That's crazy.
Describe what you're going through for me.
Well, I just make sure that I focus to save enough money for the week to get to and from work.
See that? You heard what she said. All right, we're just talking about that. I didn't play this. I didn't see this beforehand. Right, but look what she said.
To save enough money for the
Something to say. That's crazy.
Describe what you're going through for me.
Well, I just make sure that I focus to save enough money for the week to get to and from work.
I just hope I got enough money to get to and fro to work. Right? I got to make it to work. I can't afford to go out to eat anymore. I can't afford to go to the baseball game. I can't take my son to damn football practice and my daughter to piano lessons and gymnastics, and people going to have to cut it out, man. They're going to have to make these decisions. You know? People have to start figuring this thing out.
Something to say. That's crazy.
Describe what you're going through for me.
Well, I just make sure that I focus to save enough money for the week to get to and from work instead of, or if I can, I'll walk to the store.
I'm walking to the store, right? People walking to the store. People take it. They're going to get, I think bike sales are going to go up. If people manufacture bikes, right, they might come up for a little while. She said, I'm not even driving. I'm walking to the store. People going to start thinking like that. See, a lot of these Americans are obese. They're used to a sedentary lifestyle. They're used to pressing 3 buttons on their phone and having food show up at their doorstep. Huh? They're going to have to get up and walk. And your DoorDash person going to start eating your food. They're going to do people. You're going to see more people want to do DoorDash so they can get free meals. They're going to eat your food and they're going to milk the system until they get fired. So watch out for this DoorDash and you're not getting your food all the time. They eating your food. They got to eat. And you paying for it. And they going to milk it until they get fired.
Or take the light route if I can have enough money for the week to get to and from work instead of, or if I can, I'll walk to the store or take the light route if I can, if it's not hot, but it's going to be hot again. So yeah, so those are some choices that I do make.
And she's calm now. See how calm she is? Here, I have option A, I have option B, I have option C, right? She's so calm because it's not that bad yet. That's why she's so calm. And she's so, delicate about her decision. And, okay, here's what I would like to do because it's not that bad yet. Okay? Once it gets that bad, it's going to be unbearable. Right? It's going to be unbearable. And your options are going to be fewer and fewer and fewer. as this war increases, right? As this war increases, people are going to be running out of options, right? Now, they're saying that there's going to be, we'll see, and this isn't far-fetched, the same way during the pestilence, when they had lockdowns, they say that they're looking to make energy lockdowns due to the energy supplies being shut off the earth. So here's the recommended actions they're saying. And your job may say this, man, work from home. If you travel X amount of miles, we encourage you to work from home. Your job may say that. They're going to say, you might see people changing on working on the highway, changing the speed limit. It says reduce highway speed limits by at least 10 kilometers. Encourage public transport. It's going to be more people stuffed on the bus, more people stuffed on the light rail, more people calling a cab. Encourage public transport to reduce oil demand. People that never caught the bus, they're going to start taking the bus. People that was too good to catch the train, they're going to start catching the train. Limit car access to roads in large cities through a number plate rotation scheme. So license plates that start with, letter A, they can go on the road. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, you cannot be on the road unless your license plates start with the letter B. If they catch you on the road, you're getting pulled over, you're going to jail. That's what they're saying. Increase car sharing. Encourage efficient driving for commercial vehicles. Avoid air travel where possible. No more flights. Life is changing. I always wanted to go to vacation. I always wanted to go to Tijuana, to Fiji, to Bora Bora, no, it's over with. As long as this war continues, if you want to travel 3 years from now, 4 years, you're saving up, you got this damn swear jar or this piggy bank or whatever you got, break it, man. Right? I'm not saying literally break it, but I'm making the point that air travel is about to become a thing of the past as long as this war continues. Encourage electric cooking. Help industrial facilities, right? So they're beginning to put forth best practices to save energy. All right, here's something else. Higher grocery prices could hit supermarkets. All right, so it's going to get bad, man. Right, this pack of chicken going to be about $50. $79.99. It's going to be a delicacy. Here's some more things I had through the spirit. And this is in Australia. Over 100 gas stations across New South Wales, Australia, run out of diesel as panic buying surges due to global oil disruption. They're out of diesel. They're done. Australia is a big island, and they get shipments of diesel, and they know they're not going to get shipments of diesel, so they took all of the diesel. Over 100 gas stations. If you're in Australia, it's over with. They're already going to start eating each other, starving, looting, robbing, and killing. It's going to be an island of suicide. The crime rate is going to go up, and they can't escape. There's nothing but wild beasts out there and no man's land in Australia. Unless you're in those highly dense population cities like Melbourne, Sydney, you're going to be caught out there. 100 gas stations, they're out of diesel. They're done. It's already finished. Now they may get resupplied, but they might not. So if you got diesel, you got it. But if you don't, you better figure out how you're going to get it. Everybody's lifestyle is about to change, and they're going to have to make some decisions that they never thought that they would have to make. Right? Spain. temporarily freeze rents due to the Middle East war. And they may start doing that in other countries. See, all these countries are getting affected throughout the world. America, Australia, Spain said, look, nobody's paying rent. Right? We need to save our money. What else? Right? Yeah, this guy, let me play this clip. This is one more audio clip I wanted to play. I know I'm running out of time, but let me play this clip through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Right? Like I said, I had a lot I wanted to get into. So this says, terrifying warning from Professor Mearsheimer. He explains how the war in Iran will trigger a global famine. So check this out. All fair use.
The best case is that we work out some sort of negotiated settlement, but I don't see how you can do that. The fact is that to get Iran to stop the war, you have to make major concessions to the Iranians. And I find it hard to imagine the United States and Israel making the sort of concessions that are necessary to get Iran to stop. So I see the war going on. And the worst case scenario is that you can.
I see the war going on too. It's in the Bible. The Most High, he see the war going on.
Continue to march up the escalation ladder, and the consequences for the international economy are devastating. And, you know, we were just talking about oil, but it's not only oil. 1/3 of the world's fertilizer comes through the Strait of Hormuz. And it's quite clear that what's happening is that without fertilizer, farmers all around the world, including in the United States, are beginning to have major problems planting and harvesting food. And what this means for the future is that the price of food is going to go up. So not only is the price of gas going to go up and the price of oil going to go up, but the price of food is going to go up. And this is going to create major league inflation, which is going to slow down growth and result in the deaths of many people all around the world.
Many people around the world, we read it in the Bible. You heard what Esau said, right? You heard what Esau said, but we read that in the Bible, right? Let's go to Isaiah 65. Isaiah chapter 65 and verse number 13. Here's what the Most High said. Therefore, thus said the Lord God, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And we're going to eat, man. However the Most High allows us to eat, we're going to eat. He fed Elijah by using ravens. The Lord teleported Habakkuk to give Daniel food in the lion's den. Manna freely came out of the heavens for 40 years in the wilderness. Don't put a box. Don't put the Most High in the box, and don't limit Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. The Most High can do what he want to do. He can have an Edomite store up all his food just for you in the day of Jacob's trouble. You run across his Edomite mansion, they got a storehouse of food for you, your wife, and your children. Wine and strong drink and running hot water, clean sheets and beds, and you just eating and you taken care of in the day of evil. You're going to eat because God said so. They're going to die because they're the wicked, and they have done evil things in the earth. But you've been repenting. You've been coming back to the Most High, keeping the commandments, keeping the holy days, putting off the old man, so you're going to be just fine. Don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. Right? Let's get another witness. Let's go to Job, the 5th chapter. And these things comfort us. We receive comfort knowing that the Most High is going to protect us because he said so. Job chapter 5 and 17. Behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. For he maketh sore and bindeth up. He woundeth and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. We're going to be redeemed from death. We're going to have food. Don't sweat it. You might go a day, right? It might be, hour, maybe, 2 days. You're trying to figure out. Remember, we all going to be tested. Don't expect manna to come out day one. The Most High can do what he want to do. But remember, we're going to be tried. We're going to be tested to see if we believe in the Most High. Right? If we believe in the Lord. So you have to have faith in the Most High. And you can't put the Most High on your own time. He works on his time. But you have to have faith that you're going to be redeemed in famine and in war from the power of the sword. Right? It reads, Job 5:21, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. You're going to be laughing in the famine. I'm talking hysterical laughing, crying, laughing, clap your hands, get up, leave the room, come back, laughing. Laughing, your stomach hurt, side hurt, laughing, oh, stop, please stop, kind of laughing. No more, kind of laughing. Eyes watering, laughing. And you're going to have food and you're going to be just fine. Because you made the Most High your refuge. You made the Most High your strength in these last days. You know that there's no world here for you, but there's a world to come that has been written and spoken and prophesied about from the ancient times. And you believe and trust in the promises that the Most High has. So you're going to laugh at destruction and famine while the world starves and plunges into a dark age. You're going to be just fine. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 2, right? We're not worried about that. We don't fear the gas prices. We don't fear these things. Let's have faith in Yahweh Shemi Yahushua, right? And trust in the Most High, and the Most High is going to be there for us. Look at the generations of old. Did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Who did the Lord despise that called upon his name? Right? 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and 27. Let's start at 26. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. So in the days of war, famine, Jacob's trouble, all hell breaking loose. We're going to go through our hell. We're going to go through it. We're going to be tested. But the Most High is going to deliver us. We're going to have an abundance. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee. Mine hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. Right? So the Lord is going to have the angels about us to protect us. Right? And give us food and show us signs and give us miracles and pave a way for us. But, right, all you brothers and sisters that's slothful, right? You're still in the world. You're still lukewarm. You're not diligent. You better get your spirit and get your mind right. We're showing you how evil the days are about to be. And you do not want to die in the days of war and famine and destruction. Isaiah chapter 23 and verse number 17. And it shall come to pass after the end of 70 years that the Lord will visit Tyre, and she, let me make sure my screen is showing. Oh, see, I thought my screen was showing. That's all right. Right, but I'm going to pull it up anyway. Isaiah 23 and 17. And it shall come to pass after the end of 70 years, that the Lord will visit Tyre, and she shall turn to her hire, and shall commit fornication with all the kingdoms of the world upon the face of the earth. And this is really a dark saying talking about how America is going to commit fornication with the world, like Revelation, the 17th chapter says. Here's the point. And her merchandise, so all of the wealth, food, and the things that America gets through trade, the Lord is going to save it, right? Check this out. And her merchandise and her hire shall be holiness to the Lord. So it belongs to the Most High. It shall not be treasured nor laid up. For her merchandise shall be for them that dwell before the Lord, to eat sufficiently and for durable clothing. So there's merchandise in America, rather it's in these mansions or a storehouse, it's going to be for the elect to eat sufficiently, not just a little bit, sufficiently, and you're going to have durable clothing. So everybody that serves the Most High, they're going to be just fine, right? They're going to be just fine. Don't sweat. Don't panic. Don't get caught up in all this hype that's about to happen, the panic buying, confusion, and stuff going on at the airports, this rioting that's about to happen. Keep your trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. Call upon the name of the Most High today and every day, man, and build up your faith and trust in the Most High. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Get on the right-hand side of the Most High, man. Do the things that are pleasing to the Most High so the Most High can deliver you in your sincerity, and you can be found without fault and without blame as this society collapses. So with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahweh. Are you watching the fall of Rome 2.0? Most High willing you were edified. Keep the Sabbath holy. No buying, no selling, no cooking, no work, no sex on the Sabbath. We less than 2 weeks out to the Passover. Purge out that leaven that you may be a new lump without wickedness and malice, and get ready because this place about to go down. Kwam Yashala. Shalom.